Welcome. Welcome to the very first Carbon Accounting Conference. Fantastic. I was hoping I didn't have to prompt you for enthusiasm there.
More of that, all of today.
So yeah, my name's Emilien. I'm one of the co-founders, and this is
Andrew, also one of the co-founders.
Great. So that's introductions done. We're really pleased to have you today. Honestly, this moment's a little bit surreal. It's the first time we bring all of our community and friends beyond the Carbon Accounting Alliance together, and it means the world to us that you're here in this room to geek out on some pretty technical topics today. So thank you for being here. I thought I'd start with a little story. Yes, carbon accountants can tell stories. And it's the story, well, it's our story, actually. It's the story of Andrew and I and the Carbon Accounting Alliance. Andrew and I met in 2020. This was in the height of COVID times. We, like many others, were quite bored and decided to join an online course with the University of Cambridge, doing a bit of sort of sustainability. Well, I'm not sure if we learned a huge amount, but we met loads of great people.
I learned loads.
It was a great experience. And Andrew and I didn't know each other before then. And Andrew had a little bit of a knack for bringing people together. He was always one to sort of build communities, which I thought was really exciting. And so we sort of had this Module 9, we called it, which was there were 8 modules in the course, and so Module 9 was what we did afterwards. Bringing all of these people together who had sort of engaged in this event. And I think at the time, Andrew was working in healthcare. I was working in sustainability, but more on kind of the supply chain traceability side. And we were both really adamant that we would end up in the climate space. And we did, which was exciting. So a couple of years later, we decided to jump on a call. He was working at Planet Mark, still is. I was working at Climate Partner, no longer. And we decided to just have a little catch-up call, see how things were going since the course, how are things going since entering into this world, the carbon accounting, climate action space more formally. And we had a little bit of a, well, I guess you could call it a rant.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was,
Yeah.
We were quite frustrated, actually, frustrated about a lot of things. The fact that this community wasn't really speaking to each other, it felt like we were really working in silos. The fact that a lot of us were interpreting the guidance in various different ways. We weren't really sort of aligning technically on how to do things, how to measure things, how to set system boundaries and choose emission factors and all that. And it also felt that we kept on telling our clients, you've got to go and collaborate with your industry to decarbonize. But we weren't doing it ourselves. And I really disliked being a hypocrite. And I felt like one in that moment, having this good old rant with Andrew. And so we said, it was about 15 minutes left in the call, and said, well, why don't we do something about it? Why don't we actually, turn this frustration into some sort of positive action? And the very next morning, I sent Andrew an Excel spreadsheet with 10 people I knew in the industry that I thought could be interested in this sort of thing. I said, Andrew, can you add 10 more? And let's go and invite these people and see if they want to chat. And it turns out people were actually interested.
Yeah, and then our first ever Carbon Accounting Alliance call really was 13 people, I think most of whom are in this room. Or online with us as well. And so we had 13 people on a call, and we basically got together and we said, well, what should we talk about? Like, if we were to start gathering ourselves, if we were to come together on a regular basis, what would we actually do? What would we say? And there was a bit of kind of uncertainty around that. How do we collaborate, particularly where, we're competitors often, for the service provider side working in the space? What's our kind of our space to collaborate? By the way, people coming in, there are more seats at the front here, and there are some seats dotted around here, so do come and find seats. By all means, walk in front, that's fine. And so, yeah, so we then we did some trialing and piloting. We ended up sending a joint letter to the UK's Department for Energy Security and Net Zero, and then got invited in, and 4 of us went in, and then we had everyone else tuning in online, watching the meeting unfold. And we were really pleasantly surprised by how seriously DesNes were taking us as a group of, at that point,
shocked,
we were like,
really.
Yeah, we were like 15, 20 organizations, and there was just this whole, we had the deputy director of Net Zero, and then all the heads of different departments kind of listening very seriously to us as we gave these are the things we think need to be solved in policy for carbon. And so then we realized, actually the policymakers really like this as well. And so then, fast forward to kind of COP, and we decided to launch it and put it out into the world.
Yeah. I actually call myself an accidental founder because, honestly, we had no ambitions to set up a non-for-profit in the space and bring the industry together. This was never really a dream. We didn't have a business plan. We didn't set ambitions to have 200 people in a room and another 200 to 270 people online. This wasn't really a master plan, right? and I think the reason we're sharing this story here today is because hopefully this space right here, right now, is, well, your chance to set up a new CAA or something like that. We want this to be a space where you basically don't underestimate two main things. One is the power of a good rant. Use the space to air your frustrations with what you think is wrong in the space and channel that energy into some really good technical conversations.
It's therapy.
It's therapy, effectively, yeah. It's a big group therapy for carbon accountants. And then the second is a bias for action. Really, I think what's key here is not to just be complaining or frustrated, but actually to turn this into something. And who knows where it may lead, because other people may resonate with that same challenge and with the solutions that you bring to the table. So if you can kind of bring that energy today, make sure you're having a good rant, and also make sure that you've got a really good bias for action, then hopefully we can actually make this more than a shop talk and actually have some impact on the back of it. So that's our kind of key message for today. But now should we ground in?
Let's ground in.
Okay.
Cool. So this might be new to some of you, but we, both Emilien and I, sort of believe in the power of kind of people coming together in places and space. And so I know we've got, I don't know how many we've got online now, but we had over 100 during the virtual networking. So 200 people in online. I'm seeing, yeah, thank you, Keisha. We've got lots of people online as well. So I encourage everyone at home or in the office, wherever you are, to join us in this. But we're going to take a quick breath together. And we're going to do this throughout the day. When we come back from breaks, it can be really easy for our head to be off, scattered around, thinking about what we have to do tomorrow, about what we need to do for work, and all of these sorts of things. And so we want to just really ground into today. So, coming back to what Emilien just shared there, where we really want you to kind of have this, the power of a good rant, and then a bias for action. We want today to lead to stuff. We want today to lead to actions in your own organizations, for the CAA, for your personal life, whatever it might be, we want it to lead to action. So just take a moment. So if everyone with us, if you could close your eyes. And then we're going to take a long, deep breath in for 4 seconds. We're going to hold it at the top for 4 seconds. And then we're going to sigh it out, okay? And while you're doing that, I want you to reflect on, I want you to think about, what are your intentions for today? How do you want to show up? What do you want to bring to this space? What do you want to bring to others? What do you want to learn? How do you want to show up? How do you want to be here with one another in this space? Okay? So we're going to take a breath in for 4. Hold at the top. And sigh it out. Okay. Really land. Be here with us. Be present today. Don't let other things distract you. We're here today to talk about carbon accounting. We excited? Yes, good. And so, yeah, we're going to do some housekeeping.
Well, first some agenda, and then we'll go to housekeeping.
Great.
I hate starting with housekeeping. Why do people always start with housekeeping? Okay, so you've all seen the agenda online. I'm not going to go through this in much detail, but just to give you a little bit of an idea of what went through in how we decided on these key questions. I mean, one, we listened. A lot of you submitted ideas and a lot of topics that you wanted covered. Obviously, in one day, we can't do it all. Things like rebaselining and other topics, we decided we'll probably be better off doing that in a separate environment that's dedicated to those topics with a lot of space and time. So this could be a bit more general. But also, these are actually a lot of the questions that selfishly I wanted answers to. I've been doing a lot of research on some of this stuff, and actually, I felt it would be much more interesting to co-create these answers together. So that's kind of a little bit of what's gone in there, and hopefully you'll see the flow will go from being slightly more traditional kind of conference vibes with panels and talks to a lot more interactivity as we go along. And the last part of the day, we've got 2 hours dedicated to just chatting to each other, which hopefully you'll appreciate. So before we go on, I want to thank our sponsors. And I don't want this to be just the slide where I thank the sponsors for making it happen, because they actually did make it happen. We're taking a bit of a risk here. We didn't know how many people would be seated here or online. I even remember telling Andrew,
he thought 5 people were going to show up.
I thought 5 people would sign up online. I didn't think we would sell any tickets. I was even ready to cancel the live stream. So the fact that we have people from all around the world, I mean, thank you so much for your trust in joining us. This is insane. And actually, it's some of our sponsors that really made it happen. Tamara and Jess from Zero and Sunday, respectively, came in really early. Back in December, we had our first conversation, Tamara. It was insane. And really your trust and your belief in thinking, this is something that needs to happen. These are conversations that need to occur. Well, thank you for believing in us early days. Thank you so much. I also really want to thank Sage, Conrad, Duncan, Kellyanne, all of the Sage team, wherever you are. Duncan, say hi. Thank you so much. You've been founding members from day dot, really believing in the CAA, believing in what we do. And actually, your support really means the world, and you've helped us to put this event together and actually have the confidence to go ahead with it. So really, thank you, honestly. I also want to thank Climatic. Where are you, Climatic? Hessam and Jamie and the team. Sally, thank you so much for being here. Honestly, it's great to have your enthusiasm, your geekiness with those napkins and carbon accounting emission factors. I know you love all that stuff, so thank you for being in this room. Thank you for supporting us on this. It really, really is appreciated. And then finally, last but not least, we've got Planet Mark and 3 Keel there. It might surprise you, but we actually have day jobs. We do this, part-time on the side. And it really is thanks to our kind of respective employers that we can be there, can be here with you, and actually have a bit of dedicated space and time to do some of this stuff. And the final thank you I have is for a wonderful person called Alice over there, or Elise, from Ladbroke Hall. Although Ladbroke Hall are not a sponsor per se, they've also made it happen. We met Alice actually on this famous course in 2020, and she's been really supportive of the CAA and our efforts throughout. And I spoke to Alice and I said, look, I don't know if anyone's going to show up to this event. And she says, no worries. First of all, I believe in you. They will show up. And second of all, if no one does, you can cancel this free of charge. We'll make it happen. We'll make sure that this is feasible for you guys. And so thank you for that belief. Thank you for that support. And I think you can all agree what a wonderful, wonderful place to be in. So that's an extra bonus.
Yes, and it's a really lovely space in particular, because this was a former car manufacturing space for Sunbeam something. Yes, you can see the logo in the other room up on the wall still. So this was, apparently, I only learned yesterday that this is where the first car that went over 100 miles an hour was made in like 1913 or something.
While you're telling this story, I'm already going to put this up just for time. So please go and scan that QR code. We want to hear about your intentions for the day.
Yeah, so this is where we get into housekeeping. So we're going to be using Slido throughout the day for the Q&A. So please make use of that, both online and in the room. But so as a little tester, where we just grounded in on what your intentions are for the day, scan the QR code, put up there what your intentions are for the day, and in the meantime, I will give a few little housekeeping points. So first of all, please make use of the space. There's a beautiful garden outside when we get to lunchtime and breaks and stuff, or if you need a breather. There's a quiet space in the bar area. If all the peopling is a little bit too much and you want to have a little bit of quieter time in a quieter space.
Shout out to all the introverts out there.
Shout out to the introverts. There is a quieter space just in there for you. And one other thing is that this place is full of artwork, so do appreciate that, but please be respectful of the artwork. Don't touch it, don't do anything with it. There is art literally everywhere. There's some art that looks like it's not art, but it definitely is art. We know what that's like.
Especially for those who are in the library later with the round tables.
Exactly. And then there's no fire alarms today, but you can see exits literally left, right, and center if that were to happen. We've had the lights short circuit in the toilets area, just in the corridor there, but that means that we've turned it into a rave. There's some lovely, lovely.
A rant and a rave.
Yeah, a rant and a rave. So just be careful going to the toilets, because it's a little bit darker than it would be usually.
They will be fixed shortly. We've heard.
It will, yes,
yeah.
yes. But
amazing.
But yes, and then similarly, with the blinds aren't currently working, so we'll have maybe a little bit of glare on screens and stuff, but bear with us, that will be fixed as well in the near future.
Amazing. All right, I think it's time to get started. What do you think?
We ready? Yeah.
Yes. A bit louder, please. Bit more enthusiasm? Okay. So please give it up for the wonderful Jess, who will introduce the next panel and give us a little bit of a state of the nation in our industry.
Please give her a warm hand, everyone.